Hey guys, it's time for another edition of the Retro Review. This is the only video series on YouTube where you're going to see anybody cover all the Coliseum home videos. Now, of course, the choices are done by you, the viewers. You get 3 options, and the one that gets the most votes is the next review. Now, of course, all these videos are out of print, but the best way you can get these Coliseum videos nowadays are at places like eBay and Amazon. And this is to help you decide if you should get this tape or not get this tape. Depends on how you feel. Well, I do have to tell you guys that this particular round of voting ended up in a tie. Now, of course, in the event of a tie, I end up breaking the tie. So I'm sort of the tiebreaker. And so, with that being said, the tape that I'm going to be reviewing here today is the best of the WWF Volume 9. This videotape is hosted by Gorilla Monsoon and Luscious Johnny Valiant. Now, how do we start off this tape? We start off with an all-time classic. One of the greatest matches in the history of not only the WWF, but professional wrestling. The Intercontinental title is on the line. Excuse me a minute. Hello? It's not that match? It's another one? Oh, alright. Thank you, by the way. Well, I apologize. It's not the famous match at WrestleMania 3, but this is as good a match as the one at WrestleMania. Maybe not as great and well remembered, but this is still a good match. Randy Savage defending the Intercontinental title against Ricky the Dragon Steamboat. Now, this is the match starts off with a lot of offense from Ricky Steamboat. Very good offense. Does a lot of arm drags, which he's good at. And and there's just a lot of good action going on. During the match, Gorilla Monsoon is on commentary with Bobby Heenan, and they have this discussion, and Monsoon just says out of the blue that he thinks that if a champion gets disqualified or counted out, that he should lose the title automatically. Well, you should wait about 20 years for TNA. No, but anyway, Savage does get offense in, and then this goes onto the floor, and it actually becomes a bit of a brawl, and at one point, Savage hits the steel post, and he is busted open big time. Well, not big time, but he's busted up pretty good. And a theme that you're going to notice throughout this tape is that almost every other match on this tape, somebody gets busted open either on purpose or accidentally. So, as we get back into the ring, Steamboat gets control, and he's about to win, or he's seeming like he's on the verge of winning, when Savage pulls the referee over, and Steamboat chops him, knocks him out cold. Well, this goes on for a couple of minutes before the referee gets his senses back together. Savage then gets the advantage on Steamboat, and Savage is about to go for a clothesline on Steamboat, but ducks and sends Savage over the top and onto the floor. Well, while Steamboat's trying to get his senses back together and the referee is counting, Savage pulls Steamboat under the bottom rope, and they fight on the floor. And then this is how the match ends. Savage attempts to body slam Steamboat on the floor. Savage loses his balance. Steamboat rolls back in the ring just before the referee gets the 10 count. Steamboat wins on a count out, but Savage retains the title. So, in a way, Savage's blood, I guess, got into his eyes, may have affected his vision, and it cost him the match, but Steamboat does get the win, but Savage holds on to the title. Next up, we go to a very interesting tag team match, and I say interesting because of the 2 teams that are involved in this match. On one corner, you got the Iron Sheik and Nikolai Volkov, And on the other side, you got the Hart Foundation. Now, these two teams are heels, but for some reason back in the day, well, I know the reason, but whenever two heel tag teams would face off, especially if Iron Sheik and Nikolai Volkov are one of the teams, the other team's gonna get cheered for. So the Hart Foundation gets cheered in this match. So, and this is the first time that we see Slick. This is the first appearance on any of the Coliseum videos of Slick. Very interesting note. So, Nikolai Volkov sings the Russian national anthem, but Neidhart attacks him and the crowd goes crazy and the Harts are going at it. And Bret Hart takes control of this match for a little bit of time. That is until Volkov gets involved and he knocks Bret Hart off the middle rope. So Sheik and Volkov get the advantage for a while. They keep working on Bret Hart. Bret Hart's going to get most of the match for his team, most of ring time. But finally, Anvil gets tagged in, and the ending is okay because all four men get involved. And as the referee tries to put Bret Hart out of the ring, Neidhart attempts to slam Nikolai Volkov, but Sheik, who's on the outside of the ring, pulls the foot of Neidhart. Neidhart falls down. Volkov lays on top of him. 1, 2, 3. Iron Sheik and Nikolai Volkov get the win over the Hart Foundation. Now, staying with the theme of Nikolai Volkov, his next match is against Corporal Kirchner in a boot camp match. Basically, anything goes until there is a winner. Now, what's sort of funny in a way is throughout this match, Volkov is saying, USA, no. You're in Canada, Nikolai. I admire that you want to stay in character, and I admire that you are portraying, Russia as being the superior country, but you're in Canada, not the U.S. So Corporal Kirchner during this boot camp match gets busted open, and Nikolai Volkov takes advantage. But another thing that happens throughout this match, which is funny because Gorilla Monsoon mentions this, is Volkov is losing his pants. Now, he's in military pants. So he takes his belt off, and his pants start to fall off a little bit throughout the match. And it's funny that Gorilla Monsoon and Billy Ray Lyons, who are the commentators for this one, keep talking about Volkov losing his pants. Well, the end of the match comes. Kirchner is on the outside. He takes off one of his boots while Volkov is still saying that Russia's better than the U.S., even though they're in Canada. Volkov runs to Kirchner. Kirchner hits Nikolai with the boot, the steel-toed boot. 1, 2, 3. Corporal Kirchner wins the boot camp match in Canada for the U.S., who has absolutely nothing to do with this. Now we go to a 6-man tag team match, 2 weeks before the very first WrestleMania. Now these are two very good pairings. You got in total 5 Hall of Famers, 5 WWE Hall of Famers in this match. On one side you have Big John Studd, Ken Patera, who should be in the WWE Hall of Fame someday in my opinion, and Jesse the Body Ventura. On the other side, you have Andre the Giant, the Junkyard Dog, and Jimmy Snuka. This is a fun match to watch, because even though you get a bit of a tease of Studd and Andre 2 weeks before the Body Slam Challenge, you also have the 4 other men being a part of, the build-up to this match. And early on, Andre's team gets the advantage, and they're really going to town. But once Snuka gets in the ring, Studd, Patera, and Ventura take over, and they're really one signature move from that team is the bear hug. They're just bear hugging the crap out of Jimmy Snuka in this match. But eventually, we do get John Studd and Andre the Giant in the ring for a couple of minutes. and Andre attempts to body slam Big John Studd, but Patera and Ventura make the save. So we are foiled with the opportunity to see the body slam. So at the end of the match, Ventura comes in. He's facing Andre. Snuka gets a blind tag on Andre. Andre hits the big boot on the Ventura. Snuka does a small version of the Superfly leap. Andre blocks Studd and Patera before they can even get to Ventura to make the save. 1, 2, 3, Andre, Junkyard Dog, and Jimmy Snuka win the 6-man tag. Staying with Big John Studd, he's in another tag match, this time with King Kong Bundy against King Tonga and Stevie Aoki. If you remember my review of Best of the WWF Volume 8, Big John Studd and King Tonga had that fight on the outside after their match, which is a classic that you have to really see. So the focus of this match is Studd and Tonga. Studd wants Tonga. And for the first 5 minutes of this match, they go at it. They're going at each other. And Tonga eventually body slams Big John Studd in the ring. So he gets another $15,000 for body slamming Big John Studd. Eventually, King Kong Bundy and Stevie Aoki do get involved in this match. And you do get Studd and Aoki and Bundy and Tonga. Now here, again, is where somebody bleeds. Stevie Aoki looks like he gets busted open in his lip by Big John Studd. That's what it looks like. Excuse me. But the end of the match, I think this was a botched end. I think. Because King Kong Bundy and King Tonga are in the ring. Bundy knocks Tonga down. Bundy hits a knee drop onto Tonga. The referee counts 1, 2, and as the third hand goes down, literally at the same time, like a millisecond, Tonga kicks out. Bundy is confused, wanting the match to continue, but the referee said no. It was 1, 2, 3. Match is over. You guys get the win. Next up, we go to midget action. Lord Littlebrook against Cowboy Lang. Now, how do I describe Cowboy Lang? 2 ways. One, he looks like a smaller, muscular version of Kevin Von Erich, if Kevin Von Erich wore boots. And 2, Cowboy Lang looks like he's on midget steroids. Very muscular. I'm just saying. So Lord Littlebrook, is a cocky heel in this match, and it's actually entertaining to watch. Lord Littlebrook is one of the best midget wrestlers of all time. And, you get the usual shenanigans of the biting and, the kicking and all that, which is fun, and Lord Littlebrook showing the referee where he got bit, and, the referee doesn't want to see it. The end of the match comes, and I like this ending. Cowboy Lang gets Littlebrook for a sunset flip, but he starts to roll, or almost a sunset flip, but he starts to roll him over with his legs. He's got his legs underneath Littlebrook's arms, and he rolls around the ring 1 time, and then he stops, and the referee counts 1, 2, 3. Cowboy Lang gets the win. Now we go to the finale of this tape. A 22-man battle royal with $50,000 on the line. $50,000. Now, there are some big names in this match. I'm not going to go through all the names, but there are some big names in this. Junkyard Dog, Harley Race, the British Bulldogs, King Kong Bundy, Big John Studd, Greg Valentine, Brutus Beefcake, Billy Jack Haynes. This battle royal is so big that even 3 of the managers of the WWF get involved. Jimmy Hart, Luscious Johnny Valiant, and Bobby the Brain Heenan. Now, Battle Royal begins. Jimmy Hart immediately goes under the bottom rope and goes under the ring. Meanwhile, everybody else is going for Bundy and Studd, and they eliminate Bundy and Stud. They're the first two out of the Battle Royal. What a huge surprise. The two biggest guys in the match, and you would consider the favorites, get eliminated right at the beginning of the Battle Royal. And then, a minute later, Bobby Heenan gets eliminated over the top. So as they're leaving, Bobby Heenan goes to the announcer's table, and Gorilla's got a microphone, and Heenan's like, they got rid of us because they're scared of us. We're going to win, and they got rid of us because they're scared of us because they know that we're the best. Which is funny, you know. Now, the one thing I really like about this tape is they show the entire Battle Royal, which is very good on their part. I applaud them for that, because this is a fun Battle Royal to watch. So, I'm going to skip forward a little bit. I'm not going to go through all the eliminations, but the one key throughout this match is you get, every couple minutes, Jimmy Hart sneaking out from under the ring to check what's going on to see if there's anybody left. And Gorilla Monsoon, Lord love him, Gorilla Monsoon says, Jimmy Hart, he's sort of like Puxatawny Pete. I thought it was Puxatawny Phil. So anyway, let's get to the end. It comes down to Greg Valentine against 5 faces. I'm not kidding. It comes down to Greg Valentine and 5 faces in the ring. Junkyard Dog, Davey Boy Smith, Billy Jack Haynes, Leaping Lanny Poffo, and King Tonga. So Valentine actually does pretty good at this, because he quickly eliminates Billy Jack Haynes, and then he eliminates King Tonga. And then he goes, or Davey Boy goes after him, and Davey Boy gets eliminated. And then Lanny Poffo. Now I want to say this real quick, because I actually have seen this whole show that the Battle Royal took on demand. Lanny Poffo was in the previous match. He was in the match prior to the Battle Royal. So, think about this. Lanny Poffo's in the first match, which is probably about a 10-minute match. Then, immediately comes back out for a big Battle Royal and is one of the last guys in the ring. And then he finally gets eliminated. So now we got Junkyard Dog and Greg Valentine in the ring. And they slug it out. Well, Valentine throws Dog through the middle ropes. But Dog is thrown on the side where Jimmy Hart's been hiding the whole time. He catches Jimmy Hart, throws Jimmy Hart back in the ring. Dog tries to go after Jimmy Hart, but Valentine stops him. Valentine then grabs Dog, and Jimmy Hart hits a couple of slaps. That's really all he did, was just a couple of slaps. And then we get to the end. The ugliest looking ending to a Battle Royal I think I've ever seen. Valentine attempts to eliminate the Dog. Jimmy Hart's over in the corner, by the way. Valentine attempts to eliminate the Junkyard Dog. But the Dog gets his feet up, grabs the head of Valentine. He pulls him over the top rope and onto the floor. But at the same time, the Dog loses his balance on the top rope, goes over the top, and you would think, he'll just go out. No, he does this. He pushes himself on the apron off to the floor. He pushes him off. He pushes himself off to the floor. And Jimmy Hart wins the Battle Royal. Jimmy Hart, who hit under the ring for most of the match, gets a couple of hits in, wins the Battle Royal, wins the $50,000. It is so fun. It was so fun to watch. And that is how the best of the WWF Volume 9 ends. So, what did I think about this tape? Not one bad match on this tape. That's very rare for me to say on any tape. Not one bad match. I mean, granted, you have a couple of awkward moments, like, well, actually, all the awkward moments are Gorilla Monsoon, like him admitting that he thinks the title should change hands on a disqualification or a countout, focusing on Nikolai Volkov losing his pants, and confusing Punxsutawney Pete with Punxsutawney Phil. But other than that, this is a good tape. I would recommend it to anybody that is considering buying the old WWF Coliseum videotapes. This is a good tape to get. It is really worth going out of your way to try and find the best of the WWF Volume 9. Well, that's going to do it for this edition of the Retro Review. Come back in a couple of weeks to this YouTube page to where you'll get 3 choices, and you can vote for the next edition of the Retro Review. I'm Wrestling Man, and I hope you enjoyed this Retro Review.